the meeting without permission, and as such, we can only do one at a time. So that's another.
Are we live? We are live. All right, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order of the Facilities Committee of the Virginia Museum of Natural History Board of Trustees. And welcome everybody to our February meeting. We're going to go over some of the projects and needs, and I'll turn it over to Joe and Jonathan to do that.
Okay, I'll start with some things, but I am going to hand off a few of these to Jonathan. So Genus Adams Education Pavilion. I know Jonathan's been in touch with the contractor. They're starting to move a bit more stuff over here. The short version of the story is that they're also simultaneously revamping the former Hooker Field, the baseball field for minor league play across the way. And something has gone awry, so that has caused a delay. You have anything else to add?
Not with the contractor.
Okay.
The contractor is good.
Okay.
It's not going around with the contractor. It's on the city side. So yeah, they're if you look at back, you can see the trailer, and there's some struts, some structural steel out there. So
Will the field be ready for spring sports?
it already is. I mean, they can play on it for sure. It's just the stadium that they're working on. So
And I noticed that there's something about incurring a penalty for the delayed start.
Mhm.
Is that on the contractor then, or is it city?
it's on the contractor. So
Yeah,
it's not the anyway.
right.
They're eager to get going.
I think it's called a construction bond, and so didn't I just see paperwork that they lost $2,000?
Yeah, but I think it's 5,300 now. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're of course well aware of that. So fingers crossed things move there. Speaking of fingers crossed, we've had a interesting phone system for quite a bit of time now, so that's going to be installed later this month, I do believe. So that's going to be great for us.
Do you need a phone system? We got rid of our phone system.
Now we're good.
We just don't use our
Phone system.
we just don't use our cell phones now.
Oh,
Company cell phones.
okay.
I very rarely use the landline here anymore.
But you just got a new phone system installed.
Well, we're going to, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the reason I started using cell phone was because the old system started to fail, you know,
Right.
so.
I wonder how much you'll use it even when you get the new one installed.
Oh, I understand, yeah, it's not my favorite project.
A lot of,
Okay.
like for Joe as well, we, when we're working with donors or.
Yeah.
Corporate prospects grants, we always get.
It's more reliable.
Well, I wonder when the state will change that with them.
I don't know. I know at JMU we're required to have a landline and put it on our business card. They won't even let us produce business cards without our landline number.
Correct.
Wow.
That's a state policy.
They made us have Blackberries back in the early mid-2000s, they're all happy to do it. For your budget cut, that was the first thing you know.
Yeah, we just all put our phones in our drawer and just put on one thing until they eventually put them on it. What did you do?
Yeah, we're that generation that we're gonna be seeing the phase out,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
Well, it's good you'll have a new one to phase out.
Yes, I'll be pleased. Plumbing upgrades, so for those who've been around, you know that during a couple of our festivals, we ran out of water, and the city's been good to work with us. It was never catastrophic, but it did create some headaches, and so we have a single plumbing system. Jennifer just joined us, Tom, just so you know.
Oh, welcome, Jennifer.
But there was, at least when they built the building, they had enough foresight to leave them for 2 pumps, and that should correct our issues. So during the high volume where you have a couple thousand people or more on site, that's when we need it. So we got 2 bids. We're gonna get another bid this month, and we should have that rectified. So that's just part of our growing pains.
Well, you have it before the next big festival.
Nope. I mean, I don't know, but it just can't work that way. You know, it never does.
Do you have a backup plan then? You don't have backups. The bodies or something. I don't know.
We did upgrade our continuation of operation plan to include continuation of operation during festivals, high volume.
What does that mean?
In other words, we don't have to huddle and say, uh-oh, we ran out of water, what do we do? Everyone knows what to go to, right? And honestly, it's terrible, but what it involves is telling people, wait 20 minutes to use the toilet. Yeah, that's our backup plan.
Maybe some porta potties.
We do
Okay,
have porta potties, and we tell
okay,
them that they're
okay,
outdoor, but some people just don't want to use them. And we've never had a problem. A couple times we've had to do that. Folks have understood. With Douglas Avenue, it's always been a problem. There's always been periodic vandalism, whatever over there, just because it's unoccupied. So we are investing $8,000 in a new system that will be integrated into the system that runs this building. So that way we can at least keep an eye on things for one, and number two, report any of those problems. So Jonathan, can you talk about the overall term contract
Sure.
that you're running?
So we work with Department of General Services and DEP, Department of Engineering and Building to get the term contract. So we were able to go contract an AE firm to do the entire building, broken into small projects. So instead of doing piecemeal, one small project at a time, the full contract would be put out, and then, we'll go from electrical to plumbing, HVAC, and then we get the addenda. So we go up to 5 addenda. We can work on it in that order. So it was just one big project, with a small one all put together. So it makes it more efficient. We don't have to put each one out bid. We do one big project all at once and then move on and get it knocked out.
The contractor would be more knowledgeable about the whole system, doing the whole thing too.
The economies of scale, everything,
Yeah.
it all works faster, they get the team on the ground and,
Yeah.
they can say step 1, step 2, step 3, and they can plan on it, right? Instead of having one thing show up and then order and wait for the other.
But because we're a small agency and the project is comparatively small by state standards, the process is you had to put out a bid for each major project. However, Jonathan, working with DEP, it's just an exception essentially, so we just got the permissions.
Makes total sense.
Oh, yeah, so we're excited about that. And that's all maintenance reserves, so that will not impact budget, term contract. Science Outreach Experience trailer, that's coming along. Ryan, we're gonna, the RAP team's gonna come back in March, April, finish. Okay, and around that time as well, we're gonna do a little bit more on the inside. The opening that we had for it, and ribbon cutting with Chamber of Commerce went really well. Tom was there. In fact, didn't you cut the ribbon?
I did.
Yeah. So
They gave me the big scissors. I said, I don't run with scissors, but I can use them.
So, we're the exhibit installation went just fine. We just have more to do that we really don't want to do while it's freezing out, like paint and so forth. So, we had to do some structural repairs. It's not 100%. However, next week we're going to start working. We need to find a contractor up there who can give us an estimate of what it will take, because the state reached out to us and said, hey, we gave you the trailer. We know you can't just accept something like that. We want to make sure you have the resources. I couldn't believe it when it said that, but it's good. So we're going to give them a full estimate on roof repair, the hydraulics and the electrical system, and see if we can't get the whole thing kind of brought up to almost brand new shape.
Can we do something similar to what we just heard here about the
Yes.
one contractor? And
Yes, okay, and it's gonna be a much smaller project, right? And again, that won't come out of our budget.
Is it gonna be open soon, soonish?
April 27th.
April 27th.
Yeah, we're planning to do that for Riverfest, which is a big community festival, and then regularly on Saturday mornings from 9 until 1, because there's a farmer's market right next door.
So to give people a taste of the museum.
Yes, absolutely. And we've already, I don't know, talk about this, but we have already reached out to people that have expressed interest in volunteering for that. So Virginia Master Naturalist, local chapter, others that have expressed interest will get trained up on how to do it.
So I provided Len Poulin, his wife, his foundation member, his wife Mary, we're gonna approach to kind of be our volunteer coordinator up there. But Mary Zella's created an online system where people can sign up, and that will also create the calendar. So Mary just needs to make sure that we've got someone to get the key, open it up.
So I guess we want, the volunteers will be able, we don't have to have professional staff there, we won't know.
Yeah.
And are the exhibits interesting to the local community?
I think so.
Yeah, the ones that we had for the ribbon cutting,
Yeah.
I thought were, I don't know whether you're planning to make any changes to those, but there was kind of a touch table with furs and stuff like that. And then there was a big, a part of our ants exhibit.
And we're gonna add more to
Right.
that.
And a couple
and
of
then-
fossils that were.
Yeah, we have a fossil. area, which, we have, Nordic Vision limestone slab, that, people can play Where's Waldo on to find all the different creatures on it. There's, the Ice Age wolf, skeleton, dinosaur trackway, is in there talking about, why, why we haven't found any, Virginia dinosaurs.
That's cool.
Yeah,
And there's a large display screen too, on which we can put
Yes.
images like updates of the exhibit design, the building design.
And
things
it's
like that.
close to the farmer's market.
It's,
Mhm.
yeah,
very
close.
So you
We
got,
can run a cable. We think
Yeah.
we can run a power cord
Yeah.
from the pavilion to it, so it's that.
yes, but for the big event, Riverfest will be, running, a generator, so.
Is there concern about being able to use a trailer potentially, or are they watching it? Is there somebody to
We're,
drop by and check?
we're the only ones, but everybody local, it's right across the street from, economic development.
Right.
So it's in a busy part of town. So far, we're the only ones worried about ambulance, but we haven't experienced anything yet.
There's a fire and rescue right across the street.
Okay,
So, and
okay.
there are probably cameras trained on it at some point if we needed it. Yeah, back, we could probably find footage.
All right, so that's been a nice new experience for us all.
One question about that, Joe, it's on the report, the update report that went to the VOT. There's a property transfer still in progress. Is that still the same?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, they're ready to pull the trigger when we are, so they're just waiting. So, okay, like money's coming, we're ready to break ground. All right, we'll start fixing that. So.
So yeah, I think we have that poised to move over to us. And then I know I've kind of broached the topic. I figure may as well make it official, limitations on any building size. So when we have our festivals, as you know, for the last several years, we have gone the route of leading out into the parking lot, and it's worked. It's perfectly fine, and it does add a new experience for our visitors and so forth. But we do need at some point to think about, are we at the point where we need to build a new wing on this building? There is the possibility, even though there's no movement right now, we haven't heard anything new, but the YMCA is poised to build a new building. So if people are parking lot, you look to the left, that lot and the building is RY. So they're building a new building offsite. And the question was asked, would you have any interest? And I said, well, of course, but let's see how things go. So do we have any updates on movement, either in terms of funding for the new YMCA or?
No, and I think we'll see the Harvest announce whatever their portion of it is soon, and then they'll get going on their campaign, but I haven't heard anything.
What proportion do they have to raise outside of Harvest Foundation?
80%.
80%.
Yeah, Harvest, but Harvest is gonna supply, not in money, but I think they gave them the money to buy the lot, and there's some other intangible that they're giving them, so plus the 20% of the project.
So any movement on that would be far in the future, and I did make them aware that we would have to get outside funding, whether that's through the state or some other source, to actually purchase the building. I mean, frankly said, Harvest is more than set in the position that they could just give the building to us.
That's what I heard, is they might want to just give it to us. So I guess there's a process to be able to accept as if somebody gives to you. Do we have to go through like the General Assembly for 3 years, or is it easier if it's given to you?
These two are experts in that process, Abby and Jonathan.
So it's a capital project,
It
so you
is.
have to go through the same, you get the language written that you can accept the building, and then you have to pay. I mean, right now for the 2.5 acres at Waynesboro, I think it's $80,000 in fees and just paying
You mean just like property taxes and stuff?
transfer. Like
Oh,
working with the
transfer
state, it's like
fees.
80,000,
Oh, wow.
78,000.
Wow.
So I'm assuming that'll probably be more because it'd be, have to do all the inspections and.
Mhm.
And we would have to ensure that, right now, our maintenance reserve calculation is based upon the amount of building we have, the amount of parking lot we have, et cetera.
Right.
We need to make sure that gets
Right.
added to that formula. If the state says you're on your own, I don't think operationally we can sustain that.
Right.
So there are some unknowns right now. So, but we're working on it. So it's something the board needs to keep in mind. And there's benefits and challenges to either direction, of either I would personally thinking, we have a 90,000 square foot building, we better be building at least another 20,000 square feet, if not more.
I would encourage anybody who hasn't to check out the YMCA building. I walked over last night and also drove around. It's like 10 feet from our building, 15, and it's like right
It's
next to
close.
our building.
Mhm.
It's actually similar color brick if we retain the building instead of tear it down, but I mean, I think it would blend really well. It's literally like right there.
And there's a lot of advantages. I mean, we still want to keep Douglas Avenue as long-term specimen storage and so forth, but there are times like, for instance, CHML, they have the archaeology lab, but I mean, while most of their work is remote, when they have their team in town, it's a space limitation for them. And we could even start to look at things like residency. So essentially create a dorm or hostel type situation over there for visiting scientists, board members.
That's how YMCA started out.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was a place you could go and spend the night, and if you didn't have a place to spend the night.
Okay.
Yeah. History of the YMCA.
Tim?
Hmm?
Tim joining us?
I invited him, but I saw him look in the door. No, he feels the need to work behind the scenes. So. All right, and then Jonathan, you want to give an update of where we
We
stand?
saved money.
That's right.
That's exciting.
That's right, we did. Just, the light goes out, perfect timing. So we're roughly 40% of the way through the savings for the year. So as you all know, Siemens is on the hook if we don't make the $100,000 in savings. That's, everything's going to plan according to the readings we're getting on the sensors and the building information systems that are communicating with the Siemens technology, and they spit out a spreadsheet. Other news, I guess, is we work with the city. So we were just on a general service rate. Now we're on a bar general service rate. So we saved about 3 cents to 4 cents a kilowatt. So so the city's going to increase that rate pretty much consistently every year. But right now, if we had the same rate this year to next year, it'd be $28,000 in savings. So just on top of the Siemens savings, so it's pretty exciting.
And that's over 5 months? Or,
12 months.
Okay.
So the data we have there from the last 5 months.
Oh, I don't know what we're,
Why were we not on the large unit already? What prompted the change?
I saw that we weren't on it. And yeah.
It's one of those things
Hey
nobody
guys,
said
what's going
anything,
on? Yeah.
and no one's ever thought to ask. You know,
Good job.
Thank
Good job. Is anybody using the EV chargers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
consistently.
I was until we got a home charger, I was the biggest user, right? And I felt a little obligated to go after his activity. But ever since we started using the home charger, I consistently see I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're from out of town. They're going to the Y. Uptown installed 6 chargers as well, but there's some cruddy version of level 2. The Callie plugged in up there while she was at ground floor, and she was like, "Oh my God, I was up there an hour, I only got like 10%."
Those are the kind of chargers that give chargers a bad name.
I know.
Well, that's good. People are using them.
Okay.
And plus, it's, I mean, in my estimation, that the bit we save on solar panels is great, but it's more just that we've gone that direction. It's the right thing for us to do.
Look like it's only like 10 or 12%, but that's still.
It's not right.
Joe, in the update that you shared, you also said something about the parking lot needs resealing.
What is that?
Yeah, it's not critical, but it's something that's on our radar. All the lines need repainting. It just doesn't look great. The only that looks good are the things we painted recently, like the handicap and EV charger slots.
Is that maintenance?
That is maintenance repair, yeah. So, or is it? Is that a $25,000 project?
It's gotta be a project over 25,000.
I'm not.
We don't know if it's over 25,000 yet or not, so.
Yeah, okay.
It's like everything is over 25,000.
Well, I know I can't do anything less than 10,000
Yeah.
around here, but that will have to be the critical number. I think when we last sealed it, we also had some repair work, and that's what bumped it up. So we might be waiting for something else to break, that we can kind of lump into it. So, but again, it's not critical. But it will be nice because the first time we put tents in the parking lot, we didn't know any better, and it was just growing pains, and the company that installed them for us drilled holes in the asphalt and then drove stakes, and so we filled them, and the fill, it's kind of pretend, And so it makes me nervous. So resealing the parking lot would involve getting those properly prepared. So we use barrels now, water barrels to with tents. So yeah, it's another thing to keep on the horizon.
All right, we have maybe about 5 minutes or so. Are there any other questions about the projects and needs part of our agenda? Anything for open discussion? I'll ask one question. Do we need
Okay.
to report anything to the board other than what we've shared in the update? And do we have any recommendations for the board out of this committee?
Not from my perspective, at least.
I think it'd be really great to highlight the energy savings
Uh-huh.
and the switch to the rate and the good work by staff in terms of finding that and making that recommendation. I just think that's tremendous, so.
Yeah, I'll add that to my
that's great stuff.
summary. Yeah,
And that people are using EV chargers.
right.
I'll just say that, our building is now, 17 years old. We don't refer to it as a new building so much anymore. So, but it's holding up pretty darn well. I mean, there were don't forget, for those of you who are new, there were tons of problems with this building first opened up. In fact, when I got here in 2010, we still didn't have a permanent occupancy certificate because there were so many things wrong with it. Those were all rectified. And even though there are some quirks about the building, it's really held up pretty well. And not only did the energy saving project save us money, but with the reset of the HVAC system and so forth, it is so much easier to keep a proper humidity and temperature environment across the way. And when there is an issue, it's too hot, too cold, too humid. It's just a phone call or a text, and they fix it.
So is Siemens on the hook for like pumping us with stuff like that forever or for a few years? That call?
Well, no, we don't call them. They call Tim or
Oh,
Derek or
okay,
someone,
okay,
and they can
okay.
go downstairs and it's a
Okay,
couple of
okay.
strokes of the keys.
Yeah.
Okay.
The savings are guaranteed 15 years, but like the lights are on a 2-year warranty.
Right.
Every piece of equipment's on the 2, 3, 5-year warranty. But they're on the hook for replacing the unit and the labor to get it installed if something were to go awry in the next 5 years.
Anything else for open discussion? I think that was very efficient.
Yes.
Not only are we energy efficient, but meeting efficient. Very good.
Love it.
Thanks. Huh?
Zach, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. And I'll go ahead and declare us adjourned, and so we can start our next meeting.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Where are the next 2 meetings, Mary Jo?
The next meeting for education is down in the microscope lab across the hall, and research and collections will be in the main conference room.
And do we have the doors propped open?
I'll be doing that.